So, Amanda, tell me about
Hi.
your last breakup.
It's a bit personal, Avon. I don't know if I want to talk to you about my personal life. No, I'm kidding. We're talking about business breakups here, team. Oh my gosh. Actually, I've had some pretty messy breakups in business. 99%. Well, actually, now that I think about it, most of them have been clients, but I have had partnerships that have crumbled as well. I don't even know where to begin, Avon. They're messy, they're painful. They kind of feel like, actual real life breakups. There's emotions involved, there's practical stuff involved, and it's hot. It's a hot mess. So, I mean, I'm not going to
Well,
tell you
it's
to
part of the
avoid them
course.
because you'll learn a lot.
Well, you can't. Like, it's just a part of the process. Like, if
It
you
is.
if you had one customer forever, and then you would never have a breakup. But every relationship comes to the end, even if it's an amicable one.
That's
Like
true.
at some point they stop being your customer. So, is it because you solve their problem, they're done, they don't need you anymore? And that's an amicable breakup. That it still has to come to an end at some point. And
That's
if
true.
they walk away feeling positive about the relationship, and then as time goes on, their memory of that like dwindles away. Not from a it was positive then not positive. It was probably more like it was positive, but that memory becomes less important. So they're gonna forget you at some point. Like that's just natural. But if
Even me,
you
even me.
well, some are easier to forget than others. You are memorable,
Thank you.
but
Thank you.
I think that even if you're not prepared for that, don't get into business. Like there's angry breakups. There's two
Yes.
ways as well. Like sometimes it's they weren't a good client. Maybe you did the right things, but they weren't a good client. Maybe
Yeah.
it's you weren't a good operator in that scenario, as in
Yes.
you could have done all the right things but not communicated well enough, or
Absolutely.
maybe you didn't hear their problem correctly at the start, and so you went down the wrong path.
Mhm.
It happens. It's just
It
the
does.
course of getting better in business is making more mistakes.
Absolutely. How do you learn if you're not making mistakes? Gotta make them.
So
Gotta make
so
them.
tell me about some of these breakups.
Okay. So and it's funny. Like I'll cop to it. There's been some where I'm at least 50% of the problem, if not more. Like I'd have to dig
Mm.
into it a bit more. But there's definitely
Yeah.
been those situations. The one that is most prevalent in my mind, I'm of the belief it was a client issue. I
Mm.
I'm open to interpretation here. Two
Mm.
sides to every story. So my fault in the situation is that I was not clear on deliverables and timelines. I took this person at
Mm.
face value. It'll be fine. We'll do it this way. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm too trusting. That is one of my toxic traits. I'm too trusting of people, and therefore I
Mm.
get myself into these situations. So this particular person basically expected me to show up on a call for 2 to 3 hours every day and just listen to them iterate. Like, so what's the word I'm looking for, Avon? So listen to
They're
their
kind of
stream of
like stream of
consciousness.
consciousness. There
Yeah.
we go.
And thank you. Yeah. And just
There's a problem now. Now we're finishing each other's sentences. Like
yeah, what are we gonna do about that?
we've done too many podcasts together.
I know. So yes, stream of consciousness and basically just dictate. And for
Mm.
me, that's not a good use of my time. That's a terrible use of my time. When someone can sit there with a microphone and just stream of consciousness at a microphone, we can run it through transcription software, or I can sit and listen to it in my own time. So
Mm.
that was where we were at. The demand was, you're going to spend 2 to 3 hours a day with me. And I got to the point saying, I can't do it. And that demand didn't go away. And what ended up happening was we had this particular gig through a platform where if I didn't get a 5-star review, that's going to compromise my integrity on that platform.
Yeah.
And
There's
and
a
I
whole
wasn't
nother
willing to.
conversation there.
Yeah. That's a whole other conversation. So we basically took a $6,500, $7,000 hit just to make it go away. And sometimes you got to do that. We basically handed over all the work we'd already done and said, refunded what had been paid. That was the other issue. I didn't enforce the milestone, the incremental payments. That again is on me. That's what I've learned from it. Now I'm super strict with that, and we don't proceed until we've got those milestone payments in place. So, but yes, basically took us for a ride, $6,500 down the drain. And it genuinely took me about, 6 weeks to recover from, the loss in not just the monetary loss in the business, but the time that it cost me. That's a big chunk of my day that I could be working on other client deliverables, doing marketing, doing outreach. So yeah, that was a bad one. I joke that I have a heart reacts only policy, which Avon will attest to. Like, I heart react to everything in chats and stuff. So I always try to be amicable. And I made sure I was amicable as much as I wanted to, tell this person well where to go. I said, look, this clearly isn't working for either of us. Here is what I'm going to do. I did it, and we have not spoken since. So I don't know. I think some people would argue maybe there's a different way to handle that. Interested in your thoughts on that, Avon. But that is how I handled that particular one, which was particularly...
You're a professional, not a support person. And I think the biggest thing was that early framing, and, you needed to make that mistake to understand that.
That's say, right. Yep.
Here's how we work. Here's the line. I've got other clients and things to do. I think if you come across as the person who's desperate for the work, the people will take advantage. I've been exactly the same. In fact, I had a client who would gaslight the hell out of me. And, they're like, oh, we want to do this thing. And like, that didn't take, like, we didn't have all of these calls, but they're like, oh, and I thought it was going to be like this, and I thought it was going to be like that, and I'm really disappointed. And, like, we want to try and nothing, absolutely nothing.
Just their hallucination of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're trying to squeeze more out of us. And so I then implemented this time tracking tool, which then tracked not only the emails, the meetings, the calls, the all the stuff in between. And then I sent them a report and say, hey, here is what the work that we've done, the 30 hours or 60 hours or something like that. Here's the work we've actually billed for, being 50%. I said, I can't continue this. It's not viable for me. So you need to sort of like enforce your position to say, this has got to be a win-win or not at all. So I have a life to live, a business to run. Yes, I deliver value, but I need to deliver value to me and value to you. Otherwise, someone is losing. And where somebody loses, this is not a we talked partnership, but a customership, I guess, is a partnership, but for a short time, for an equal benefit. So is that something that you're going to continue, or is that something that you're just going to say no to because this doesn't work for me?
Yeah, well,
I would say it's not working for me. It needs to work for both of us, or not at all.
That's right. Absolutely. And we've had other scenarios where we had this one client that we thought was everything was going really well. We felt we were getting held up by a particular subject matter expert in that organization. She was the bottleneck, and all of a sudden they just canceled the contract. And said, all they said to us was, we need to move faster. And I was blindsided because we weren't the bottleneck. It was the team member that was the bottleneck. So what you were saying earlier, sometimes we don't know what we don't know. Maybe we need like another person to maybe debrief and go, what happened in that situation? Because I don't feel, the data tells me it wasn't us. Maybe they were not communicating internally, but that's another example of just that one was going really well. We were communicating, and then all of a sudden ghosted us. Well, politely said we're ending things here, and I didn't argue. I'm like, okay, clearly I felt there was some internal politics perhaps going on there. So I just said, yeah, absolutely. They said even stay in touch. I was like, okay, we'll stay in touch. And yeah, that was an interesting one as well.
Interesting you say about having a third-party observer like that time when this person was gaslighting me. I wasn't aware of it until somebody pointed it out, and then that's when I started to measure everything. And so this was a contractor that joined for a call and said, "Man, this is really bad. Like, you need to have a second look at what's going on here." And you gave another example there where that you had this person who was a roadblock. Now that might have been internal to the company, but I've been on a call. I got invited onto this call, so they were a customer of these. So again, co-opetition. These people were competition, but constantly bring us into work on this similar-ish platform. Anyway, so they're like, hey, we've got these people. They've got this challenge. Can you come in? And we're all on the call. And they'd brought their own support person who was their own IT person. So I basically had two competitors on the call. One brought us in because we're actually helping each other out. And this other one was like, IT is a funny thing because I say it's like the cuckoo effect. So I don't know if you know about the cuckoo. It's a bird that lays its eggs in other birds' nests. And when the baby hatches, it pushes the other the eggs out of the nest, so that it becomes the only, like, an orphaned baby, right? So IT is exactly like that. They'll get someone come in and go, your website's not doing this, and that code is not doing that, and this is broken, and oh, that's a real security risk. They sell through fear. So anyway, this person started to come in and go, say, like, they're trying to defend their own position, not actually act for what was good for the client. I said something and it didn't fit his definition, and he's like, no, that's wrong, you're wrong. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I completely like sidestepped him and kind of went to the client and like radical honesty works, or openness works in this, and be like, and I say, it feels a bit tense in here, doesn't it? I don't think it's super productive to what we're trying to achieve. What do you want an answer? Like, if I can finish what I'm here to say, you're going to have another perspective and you can think about it. But if I'm going to get shut down, I don't think that's healthy for anybody. And that kind of put this other guy, made him look like the bad guy. And now, just by being like radically transparent and open and honest, and say, what are we actually trying to achieve here? Because it's not worth my time. It's not worth your time. And this guy's just, more of a roadblock to the situation. So, so you kind of call out bad behavior, and it can be very uncomfortable to do, but it's a really good way to get a meeting back on track. It's probably more like a meeting facilitation skill. But
absolutely. Yeah, no, but the way you handled like a master, and I don't like, if I was delivering that in that way, I wouldn't feel uncomfortable, because the way you said it was nailed framing, right? Yeah.
It was all the framing. If I had reacted and gone, what do you mean? Rah, 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 and bit back, and then now you got two people arguing in the session. Instead, 100%. I just called out bad behavior and made him look like the asshole. And now he's the guy has to wear that.
Yeah. Nailed it. Yeah. So you chose to respond instead of reacting to his little quip.
So
nice.
So maybe if in that scenario you had with that person, go, here's the list of things that we've tried. Here are some roadblocks that we've had. Objectively, I think if this had have happened, we might have been in a better position. But it's the we, not I. So you're saying that they're complicit, because the customer is a temporary partnership.
Yeah,
particularly in that B2B environment where you're doing a joint project to achieve an outcome. So you have to bring them along for the ride. We've had they're not a business breakup. There could have been. We're actually they paid the deposit last night, but it's a thing that's gone ahead because they had the person who started the conversation with us quickly swapped out with somebody else. 5 other
okay.
people joined the conversation, then board member, then CEO. So they're getting caught up only on the last few calls. And now it's like, oh, by the way, yeah, like all the team inside the organization, because I've basically become the chairman in that conversation, not
Yeah,
necessarily to own the conversation, but just to facilitate a better conversation because their team can't do it effectively. You know, like we were saying before, like if you send an email to 10 people, everybody's waiting for somebody else to do a thing. But if you go, hey, this is what I need from you, this is what I'm hearing, it may not be correct, and they have an opportunity to correct. But by owning it and being the leader in that conversation, now you get to reframe how people think it. And I think we're getting off topic of business breakups, but we're drilling down to
I
an
think
issue
it's
that
valuable. No, people need to know how to have these conversations to get the best possible outcome. So, you know, you want to walk away with your reputation intact, right? Like it's one of those things where, like reputation is massive. So
well, we're getting onto the breakup thing, and I think this will cover some of that as well, where you know we had a business breakup, we had another partner involved, and at a certain point, you know, he was frustrated that no one was listening to him and that they would only do what I wanted. And I think, you know, part of that was a leadership thing beforehand. And where I would like, we need, I think where he was coming at it was he wanted the C-suite straight away. But we're a startup. And he says, I want people should just listen to me because I'm a director. And like, have you met with them? Have you engaged with them? Have you, you know, do you check in on them? Do you go, hey, this is what I need? Are you stuck? Do you know what I'm asking for? How are you going? And then give some feedback. And so people wouldn't listen to him because it was more of a leadership problem than like a power position problem. And then you know, then you start seeing that they're on the call, but they're not on the call. They're present, but they're doing something else.
I'm like this, right? Yeah.
Not listening, and weren't there at all. And so after a while, it came to, hey, I'm out. And then it became very like, you're the wrong person. You did this, you did that. I'm like, okay. So when we like, this is where you needed a shareholder agreement, and the shareholder agreement, because this happens a lot. So if you're ever going to start a company with someone, put in the shareholder agreement that no one can take out anything except what they put in the first 18 months, 2 years or whatever. So
good call.
I've seen it before where some business gets started, people put in some money, it becomes wildly successful, and then someone goes, I'm just going to cash out now. So they're like, it doubles or triples in value in a very short time, and they're like, I'm going to pull my money, buy me out. And it's before and then that collapses the business. So it hasn't gotten to a point where it's successful enough so that buying someone out, you know, might then be meaningful, or you know, like let's just say that it happens a lot in like law firms and accounting firms. But if they had have just said, if we all put in, I think we put in $5,000 each. So I said, well, in that 18 months, you get paid $5,000, and because, you know, like unless we collapse the company completely, then we'll distribute what's there. But you can't pull the rug out before we've even gotten started. And the other thing was, we said, we started paying a salary, right? We started literally with, after the first couple of clients, it was $50 each. And then every time we kind of felt like a week each. And every time we felt like there was a little bit more revenue, we'll go, we'll up it to another $50, and then $150, then $200. Like it was so small, but we were all like working hard. And we said in the agreement, this will be your only job. And that wasn't the only job for this person. So we could have gone down the path of breach of contract, but was it worth it? Absolutely not. So we've paid out. We paid out the salary, paid out his pay-in amount, which we had by that stage, but being limited to $5,000 instead of going, oh well, now you're making, you know, $100,000, so I want this valuation, I want that much money. We didn't do that. So we kind of minimized our downside, and then after the breakup, he'd send me a screenshot of, there's this service that values companies, like Dun and Bradstreet with some data service, but it's the wildest guess. It's totally pointless. And it's like projected revenues based on our best guess. And it might have been like a 2-person company, and it said like $1 million. And it's like, what is your revenue this? And I'm like, sent the screenshot back and then put a circle around it, go, this is estimated only.
Well played, sir. Well played.
But always friendly, like to say, look,
always,
I can appreciate what you're doing here, but this is only projected revenue. And again, it's about the facts and about what the situation is. It's not about the person. So the moment you bite back and get angry and do this or that, the breakup will go south. Like with your scenario, you said, hey, look, we're unable to do this at the time. Here is your refund. We did this, we did that. Thank you very much. You didn't get a negative review. Sorry. You didn't get a negative review.
That's
so that
right.
hasn't affected your other business. Yeah.
Exactly. So long game, good. In the moment, painful. And you know what, though? Yeah. It taught me what red flags to look for. So this person had been working with someone else previously and it didn't work out. Yeah. I didn't ask enough questions about that. And the other red flag should have been this person wanting to meet for multiple hours every day. And I guess I kind of brushed it off because I'm in my head, I'm like, I know we won't need that. She'll work that out pretty quickly. Yeah. But no, stream of consciousness. That's what it was all about. So yes, take as much as you can away from these situations. Take those lessons because you won't make the same mistake twice. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, like in my example, I didn't actually wish anything bad on that person. They were my friend, and I was taken aback when that happened. Yeah. And then I know they had some stuff in their personal life, and I would never and I'm trying to speak with veiled speech at the moment because I don't want to, cause problems. But I'd never wish ill on that person. In fact, I had someone else reach out with concern about that person, and I helped them make contact, which, I would never, go and make an issue or roadblock them from getting help or any of that sort of stuff. Right. But I was pretty sullen for a few weeks afterwards. I felt like I couldn't get out of bed, did feel like a breakup, like I'd lost a friend. And but with a customer, I guess it's a little bit different. Yeah. But you really need to try not to take it so personally and be more about the what's the word, the facts of the case. Yes. Try to take an objective, zoom out, take an objective view. Try to, I guess there's dealing with it and then there's the red flags of it. And I think, we should definitely be in this episode be talking more about the red flags, but sometimes you can't always see it coming, or because the problem is we want the best thing for the customer, or we want, we're trying to do the right thing. Yes. And it's probably an alignment thing. The alignment thing might be, you see this problem, they see that problem, and you're not aligned. And maybe if you spend more time trying to get on the same track, or even if it started off on the wrong foot, there's times where I'd started this way and they've come at it another way, and then something changed along the way. And I think, they think I'm over here. Maybe, for example, in growth, maybe we engaged them here and we were small, and then we're like, oh, you need this, you need that. And then over time, our value to the market is up here, but they still oh, I only want to pay that much and blah, blah, blah. But, well, now I've got team of people and I've got this happening and that happening, and we're going to come at it faster, harder, better. We're much better at what we do. And so that then I feel like my needs are not being met in the situation. So
absolutely,
it doesn't always have to be a red flag for the client. Sometimes it's a red flag on you. Your angle, your perspective, your feeling about the situation. That is can be just as toxic or dangerous or something. You go, oh, I want to help them more than I should. That's going to bite you in the backside later down the track.
Every time.
I'm going to do a discount because, I like this person or whatever. Again, it's going to bite you down the track. You're going to feel bested, and then you're going to change your tack on that particular situation, and you go, this does not suit me anymore. I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, and it's going to lead to a breakup. If not now, then later.
Yeah, exactly. And it just, you can't perform at your best when you feel like you're being taken advantage of. So in that period before the breakup, it's just, it's not a good place to be in. It's not a good place for either you or the client.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's it. I think we covered everything.
Nailed it. It's what we do. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's the podcast. So in closing, join the Relevate community. It's what you should do.
Do it.
Because
yes, you should.
People care. And we're going to poke the bear and ask the questions that need to be asked so that you get to the answer that you need to hear. Not necessarily always that you want to hear. We're not rude about it, but sometimes we have to get to the meat in the sandwich, where the rubber hits the road. Like that's the thing that's going to solve the problem and move the needle for you. It's not going to be everything will be fine. Like if you go and ask your mum or dad or your friends, hey, what do you think of this? Sometimes they're going to, oh yes, it's good. They're going to tell you what they think you want to hear to inflate your ego or to make you feel nice about things. No, we're going to solve a problem.
We'll be absolutely fantastically lovely to you, and we'll hit you with a brick that is reality and tell you what you need to know. And
then pick you up afterwards.
Absolutely, every time. Yes. It comes with triage and first aid. You're covered. It's going to be great.
That's it. Yep. Cool. That's a wrap. Stay classy.
Till next time.